Alright, so today we are going to be talking about the Just Johnson situation. Basically, what happened was that allegedly he was very emotionally and verbally abusive towards his then girlfriend Sabrina, and she came out and made a video about it a couple months ago. He's been mostly silent on it. He just came out and was on a interview with Wubby, and now we're going to be watching the video where Sabrina reacts to it. If she leaves anything out, I'll make sure to throw the clip of it in. Without further ado, we'll get right into the video.
Couple reasons.
I skipped ahead a little bit.
Alrighty. Show of hands. Who watched that interview yesterday? Let's see him.
My hands up, I guess. Bad joke timing. Let's get back into it.
At least got the highlights, the gist, because my mentions certainly convey something particular. Yeah. You know, in my last Twitter statement,
I don't know why she's acting like this. Why she's like sitting here. I don't know. It just has this weird vibe to me. Continuing.
I said that I was only gonna do what was gonna bring me peace. But I haven't had that today, or since last night. You know, I could have people calling me a liar. I could have people harassing me. But the combo, it's just I can't have the combo. Can't have the combo and be quiet. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
You know, she's actually pretty chill about this. If I felt like people were lying about me, I'd be a lot more angry. But people take things different ways. I'm not trying to insinuate anything at all by making that statement. Like I'm just saying, just want to put that out there. It's just kind of odd to me.
I feel so quiet, actually. There we go. It's a little better. A little bit of Animal Crossing lo-fi. Did not want to give the party the actual view. Yeah. Dirk, you don't have to watch anything.
Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead to the actual action.
I don't have an emote for raising my hand and vomiting violently. Okay. Anyway. Oh.
Is she gonna watch this video? Okay.
There we go. So, let me pull up my notes.
Oh, she's got notes. Okay. That's good. That's better than what I thought was gonna happen. I thought she was just gonna sit here and talk about it for a little bit. I'll just okay.
Sure. On the screen today. So if you subscribe or do anything, especially yeah. Originally, I don't even know where to start. Originally, I didn't want to address this anymore. I didn't. But like I just said, I could have people calling me a liar. I could have people harassing me. Separate camps. Combo together, harassing me in my mentions nonstop today. Can't have that. That's not peaceful. And it was all a result of a little seemingly impromptu interview yesterday on a popular Twitch streamer's channel. Oh, cool. Hype train. You know, originally, and I know a lot of other creators feel this way, that we share what we want to share, what we feel comfortable sharing. We have lives off of the internet as well.
Alright,
and it seems like normally the healthiest always going to get the abortion.
Okay.
This is come into light. I do want to address it again.
All right. So I finally found when she actually started talking and about the issue, and we're gonna look into that. Jeez.
So that's why we're here. Yeah, like somebody sent me a link to what was happening, and I caught like the tail end of it, so I had to like restart it. Anyway, yeah, originally I wasn't going to share some details.
I wish she would just get to the point. I have been sitting here just waiting for her to get to it. I know you can see that the video is only 5 minutes in, but like it feels like it's been long.
That's changing right now. Do you feel like you have to at this point, because there is straight up misinformation out there, and now that's being used to harass me on all my socials, I do want to address it.
I can commemorate her for that. You know, a lot of people would just duck the smoke and just would not talk about it. So I appreciate her coming out and talking about it. Only complaint is that she hasn't gotten into it yet.
So, oh God, I don't even know where to start. Jesus.
The beginning. The only reason I'm pausing so much is because I want to actually add to the video and not just repost it.
So obviously this is about my ectopic pregnancy that ruptured and nearly killed me a few years ago. Elephant in the room if you didn't already know that.
Why would anybody be watching this and not like know about this? Like, I don't know anyone who would be covering the story and not understand this part of it.
But with yesterday's interview, just some things were not portrayed as accurately, or were just straight up wrong. So, just correcting some things. Like, for example, and this was already out, but I did an interview with Mama Dr. Jones where she like reacted to my video to talk about like ectopic stuff, and I just gotta reiterate, I was always going to get the abortion.
That's weird. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any reason to not believe her here. I don't know why this is like something that Gus would have brought up. I don't know how it would have made him look better.
Was always gonna do it. I did all of the appointments. I went to all of the appointments except the actual day of the procedure by myself. The day of the actual procedure, Gus went with me.
Yeah, that's messed up. This is kind of weird though. It's really uncomfortable to talk about. I don't know too much about their actual situation. So I'm only gonna analyze, I guess you could say, what I can see and judge off of what I can hear. That's a weird way of saying it, but
I was still going to all my appointments. I was scared. I was mostly scared of having a procedure done. I knew I didn't want to have a kid, but I was scared of the procedure. And then I was scared that I was feeling forced into it. Those were the things that scared me. And obviously, as we now know, at Planned Parenthood, they couldn't find anything when they did an ultrasound. So they did not let me do the procedure. The tech that day said...
Wait. Okay, so this is something that I don't understand, like biologically wise. Like, why would you need a procedure if they like couldn't find anything? I know I'm missing something here, so like, if you know what what I'm missing here, just drop it down in the comments.
that either you're not as far along as we thought, which, doing the math, didn't add up, or it could be ectopic. So that was the first day that the word ectopic popped into our heads, and we were aware of that possibility. I then, immediately after that appointment, went to Kaiser. Let's see.
So, from my memory, I think Kaiser's like a clinic. So she went to a different doctor, which is probably a good idea. I'm just, let her keep going. Again, just trying to transform the content and actually talk about it and give my thoughts.
Here we are. I went to Kaiser. Sorry, I brought receipts today. I went to Kaiser, and this was October 16th.
Oh, okay. So I was like scrolling through, just trying to find where she was actually gonna start talking about the Gus interview, and I saw this and I was really confused, but I'm glad I have context for it now.
And I made sure to tell them I was having lower left abdominal pain. It was weird that it was only on one side. And I told them that at Planned Parenthood, they told me that ectopic was possible in this situation because they couldn't see anything. They told me to keep that on my radar. So I conveyed this to my doctors on October 16th. They noted it in my chart. They noted that I was having lower left quadrant pain. Okay? So they...
Dude, that's got to be so scary, man. I just want to say this, if it hasn't been obvious enough. I'm not trying to take anybody's side, and I'm just talking about the situation. But yeah, that's got to be terrifying, man. Just to have all this stuff going on and to not know anything. That's, jeez.
They were aware. And then, of course, they sent me home because nothing exciting was happening yet. Until the next morning. The next morning was when I woke up in that extreme pain that I mentioned in my video. Remember? The most incredible pain I ever felt in my life. Started bleeding all of a sudden. Couldn't move. I was stuck in the bathroom. It was awful. Then, as soon as I was able to move again, clean myself up, I went back to bed, and I told Gus about it. I told him how...
Wait, so it's did Gus not hear her? Cause there's no way you're doing all that and you're not making any sound, unless she was trying to stay quiet. Dang. Okay.
Bad my pain was. I told him how much my abdominal area was hurting. You know what he said? He said, it's probably the Del Taco we had last night. Yeah, my stomach kind of hurts too. It's not a big deal. We can just go back to sleep.
Jeez. Wait, hold on. Did she say anything about the blood?
My stomach kind of hurts. He said, it's probably the Del Taco. You know what he said? I told him how much my abdominal area was hurting. You know what he said? My abdominal area. I told him how bad my pain was. I told him how much my abdominal area kind of. He equated.
Okay, so
my
that's bad, but it's not as bad as I thought. Where I thought she said that she was bleeding. That would have been top tier bad, but it's not as bad. Still pretty bad, but not as bad. I don't know why I'm saying bad so much. It's kind of bad that I'm saying bad so much.
Organ rupturing inside of me. Although, to be fair, we did not know that it was my organ rupturing inside of me. I just knew that it was the worst pain that I've ever felt in my entire life and that I couldn't.
Okay, in Gus's defense, right? Again, not taking any sides here. If you just woke up, you're not going to be in the best state mentally to answer and understand things, okay? In fact, my little brother, right? Weird story. He would try to ask me for things when I was asleep, when I was 11 and he was 6. He'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's not a real age gap, by the way. It's not the real age gap anyway." he would ask me, "Oh, can I have $5?" And I'd be like, because I'm not understanding. But then he'd be like, "Oh, okay, I can have $5." And then he'd come back later and be like, "Hey, can I have my $5 back?" And I'd be like, "What $5? Like the $5 you said you give me earlier this morning." It's like I wasn't paying attention. You could have said anything.
Move from it for a little bit. But that was equated to gas. So I thought about it and I was like, maybe I am overreacting. Okay. And I tried putting it off. No, yeah, it got worse. And that's when I went back to Kaiser. I went to the Women's Health Center, and that was where the lady, I went by myself, by the way. That was where the lady told me, as you saw in the screenshot from my original ectopic pregnancy.
I probably should have spent more time reading that. That's my fault. Jeez. I don't know why I didn't think to read that. Obviously, it was important if she put it on the screen.
Video that she told me to take Tylenol and go home. So, two people kind of downplaying my pain that day. I know what I felt. I was trying to reach out for help, and I was mentioning, like, hey, the pain is especially on the left side. They were told it could possibly be ectopic. Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm not far along, but something's wrong.
Yeah, sometimes that happens weirdly in the medical field. I've had that happen with somebody I knew. They like tripped and fell, and like one doctor told him, just hey, just walk on crutches for 2 weeks and you'll be fine. And then he went to another doctor and found out that he had tore his quad, and if he didn't get surgery within the week, he'd never walk again. So, it's an odd thing that happens.
I'm bleeding now. And yeah, just shrugged off, sent me home.
Okay, so they know that she's bleeding and they told her to take Tylenol. This is just so ridiculous to me. Jeez.
Something still wasn't right. So finally, I did go to the ER that very same day. And Gus did go with me to this appointment. Of all of my appointments, I think up until then I had like 7 appointments. Like one to go confirm the pregnancy, one to go tell my doctor that I wanted a referral to Planned Parenthood, one at the Women's Wellness Center, one at Planned Parenthood, one at the Women's Wellness Center again when Planned Parenthood couldn't find anything. One with the OBGYN after Planned Parenthood, and then the ER. So at this point, October 17th, this is the day that my organ presumed my fallopian tube fucking ruptured.
Jeez. Oh, dang. I kind of got lost in the sauce there for a minute. But yeah, I'm just trying to make sure this content is transformative as possible. I really don't do reaction stuff, if you can't tell. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is bad. I don't know why she's really not talking about Gus all too much. She's more talking about the medical experiences. Please get
at
to
the
Gus.
ER, and
I don't want to skip anything though. That's the problem.
there he is.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube. Well, I mean,
Oh
it's
wait,
getting
wrong
shown
one.
on YouTube, so.
ER ruptured. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Oh well, I have another one. Oh well, I'll pull it off after. But anyway, the ER was just like, without doing any tests beyond blood tests, was like, well, your hormones are declining. Your hormones that detect whether you are pregnant or not. It's the same like hormones that are detected in a pregnancy test. So they're pretty accurate. They're like, well, your numbers are declining. So
like nobody. So counting before, she went to 3 before this, and none of them blood tested her. It's weird to me. I don't know why they wouldn't blood test her.
It's safe to say that it's most likely a miscarriage at this point, and that's when they were like, yeah, go bleed it out at home. They didn't do any imaging. I'd still repeat it over and over at these appointments. The pain is on the left side. Could this be ectopic? What's what's going on? No, they're the doctors. They know more. So yeah, that was October 17th. I went on the next few days, still in pain, and like at times, like it would be randomly sharp and whatnot. And then finally, on October 22nd, like my stomach was expanding big, and it did not make sense because I was not eating because eating was so painful. Um, I went to work, and I just knew something was wrong because that was the first.
Sucks that she couldn't like take time off while dealing with this. I don't know how people didn't pick up on this earlier. It's weird. Excuse the chair in the background. I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm talking about this really uncomfortable situation.
First day that I really had like the sensation of like collapsing and just not being able to breathe, tightness in my chest, intense pain in the lower left abdominal area, all of that. And so I left work and I called Gus on the way, said, something is wrong. I'm in so much pain, still bleeding. Something is wrong. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to the ER. And he said, well, he already said it yesterday. I'm going to record a podcast. And then we're going to get dinner and drinks with him, their guest, after.
That's rough. Dang. Oh boy. After this, I'm going to take a look at the interview because I'm hoping at least there's an explanation as to why. I know he said that from the bit that I saw, he was talking about how he had, he felt that he had that obligation and he was just so scared and stuff like that. Really weird to me, but.
And what else could I do? So I went alone. We already knew that. And he didn't mention that I was waiting for him at the hospital to anybody that he was around that day. So he proceeded. And the thing is, like in the interview yesterday, when he was even asked about that exact moment, he didn't really acknowledge it. Which was like, that's kind of like one of the big parts, you know? Yeah, no, he did end up going to get dinner and drinks, knowing I was with.
Yeah, see, that's weird. So I get like having the obligation to the podcast. I understand that. It's weird. I think they still would have let him go. Like, hey, my girlfriend's going to the hospital. I need to like go. I'm sure they would have let him go. 100%. But I mean, it was a podcast with Eddie Burback, I want to say. I really should have looked that up, but it was a podcast with Eddie Burback, as far as I can remember. And you would think he'd just be able to get out of that. And going to dinner and drinks afterwards, I understand being scared, but like at that same time, you gotta go, right? Like there's things more important than dinner and drinks. I was just saying.
Waiting in the hospital, scared and alone. But of course, again, it was not confirmed that it was ectopic. But we knew that something was severely wrong. I was bleeding heavily and I had intense pain still. And yeah, and we already know that, finally after being there for 4 or 5 hours, Gus shows up right in time to get the diagnosis. It's ectopic. I should have been dead by now.
Jesus, messed up. At least he was there for the diagnosis, at the very least. Oh boy, this is just a messed up story. Hey.
Time for a surgery. You don't have a choice at this point. And here's the part I was bringing up. They're like, yeah, you need to have surgery because we don't even know where your pregnancy is at this moment. Pregnancy of unknown location. You've got free fluid, and that's why you're bloated as hell. You're gonna have dilation and what is that, curettage? Basically an abortion first, just to see if they can get it out that way, and then they were going to try to go in laparoscopically, which means through your belly button, and they had to make 2 incisions and cut through my abdomen on each side. And here it is: procedures, indications, and potential benefits discussed. Benefits? Pfft. Benefits discussed with the.
I'm just gonna skip this part.
Diarrhea. It's at the with the end of my original video. There were some people saying, "What? Kaiser kicked you out like an hour after your surgery? You're a faker. They would never do that. No, they wouldn't kick somebody out an hour after a major emergency surgery." Yeah, they would. My surgery was at about, it started at like 11 p.m., 12, lasted, and sure enough, here's my discharge, 1:45 a.m.
Does she have like
Couldn't
evidence
even,
of when the
I was still
surgery
coming off of,
started?
but,
This is like a weird
after a
claim.
major,
I don't want to like.
and
I don't know why she's focusing on this part so
very well.
much. Seeing is this,
Yeah, so just for some people who thought,
is this
no, they
for
wouldn't actually kick you out an hour after a
her
surgery
channel?
at
I
2
don't
in the
think this is her
morning.
channel. So
Yeah, they would.
okay, let me stop talking over her. Anyway, isn't this like her channel? Why is she? If the title is Sabrina, okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. It's gonna lol. That's not even. That's not her channel. Hopefully things just lined up back again correctly. Anyway.
So that's what I've
Oh, what was I saying? Oh, it's just a weird claim to make without like showing what time her surgery was at. I know things get wonky. Don't really want to say anything about the validity of that because I don't know. But
doing wrong. Let's see. Let me just refer to my notes again. Oh, wait, I didn't even show you the fun part. So I think there was a part in the interview where Gus said that we didn't know how serious it was because we didn't even think about like ectopic until like we were at the hospital and I was already dying. No, we were already aware of that possibility. We were already aware. I was always specifying where exactly my pain was, and I thought,
that's weird for him to say. I wouldn't you have heard the diagnosis? Sort of mulling this over as I'm saying this. I don't know who to believe in this situation, so
topic, perhaps? I don't know.
share
But also,
again.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I'm just guessing, and my guess was right. Eventually. And I did tell him it wasn't just spotting, as he quoted my my bleeding. And here you know. So 2 days before my surgery, but after my rupture, because we think it ruptured on the 17th.
That's tough. I haven't seen this video before. I'm making this one. I'm watching along with you guys. I just don't know what she's gonna say at this point about this. She's gonna be positive or negative. Anyway.
Remember, I said, want to know something gross? Every time I sit down to pee, if I pick my right leg up, more blood gushes out. I feel like an old water pump. I was very detailed with how much blood I was losing. Sorry, that part was probably a little gross, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just a little gross, but hey, people joke in different ways. It's whatever. It's kind of very, very odd, but eh.
But I still remember like that feeling too. Like on one hand, I was kind of like just amazed at what very well. That's what it was like. That is what I was dealing with. It wasn't just like, oop, no, that was like. And naturally, because I was kind of brushed off a lot by people I was supposed to trust, mainly the medical professionals, like, we're going to be easier, right? They fix the problem, right? Let's see. Let's go back to my notes here.
There's a lot of awkward silence, dude. And since I'm skipping it because I want to get to the Gus stuff, it's just hard to feel the silence.
Oh, also, I do want to go back because, again, in my original video, I mentioned how I'm backtracking a little bit. The day that I went to Planned Parenthood to have the abortion procedure before we knew that I wasn't inside my uterus, um, Gus had to wait in the lobby and they wouldn't let him come back with me. And at the time, I was freaking out because then when I went back, all the medical staff were like, "Are you 100% sure that you want to do this? We're not going to let you do this if you're not 100% sure." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, are these people actually pro life? This is scary."
Yeah, it's gotta be weird. I understand asking someone, "Hey, are you completely sure?" But like at that time and in that state of mind, it's just really not the best. At least in my eyes, it's not the best. But hey, I'm not a medical professional, so I wouldn't know.
And I was wrong. Especially now, I've learned after like talking with like Mama Dr. Jones and a few other like women and whatnot, or people who work at Planned Parenthood, that they ask you that to make sure you're not being coerced into getting an abortion.
Oh, I should have let the video play a little bit more. I make that uh, mistake often, where I like have a thought on the video. One time I commented on something in a video, and it was corrected like 30 seconds later in the video. And instead of deleting the comment, I put, "Oh, never mind." I'm just a dumb kid. Anyway, continuing on.
Because it's more common than you think. So, I I'm that was a correction that I wanted to issue for my own video. That is why the staff at Planned Parenthood ask you if you're 100% sure. It's not to try to make you back out because they want you to choose life. They just want to know that it's. But I know now, and we've got a couple people in here.
Okay. Really silent. Really
If I
silent.
pulled out a screenshot, but they nicked my appendix a little bit when they were inside for surgery, so they had to have like a separate surgeon come in as I was looking at the op report. They didn't even tell me that when they like woke up and they were like kind of talking to me, or maybe they did tell me that and I just wasn't lucid. But yeah, they nicked my appendix a little bit and they cut through some nerves, and I have long-lasting nerve damage.
Ah, that's bad. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they excuse the background noise. Move my headphones. But I don't know how that like happens. When you're. So, I'm just gonna let the video play. I'm too confused
I
on
have
this.
the worst spidey senses in the world, just constant tingling and things just feeling weird inside, and not to mention just like other things like the whole PTSD thing. That kind of ruined my life for a while. It's gotten a lot better, but it ruined.
That's bad. I don't know what else I can say about that. I don't know if she is saying that she has like PTSD from the ectopic pregnancy itself, or like just the whole situation, or the abuse that Gus allegedly put her through. I don't know. Anyway,
my life for a while. So yeah, recovery was difficult because the thing is like I've had anxiety for a while. I already know that. These PTSD episodes very different from just like a regular panic attack, which I am familiar with because the PTSD was having me relive what it was like to feel like I was physically dying.
okay. So another case of the me not letting the video play enough. I just want to make sure I'm not letting too much of the video play, that I'm committing copyright infringement.
All over again. And that's why they felt different. So I did go to urgent care. I went to the ER a lot after my surgery, after while I was recovering, because something was still wrong. Like there were like little complications from the surgery, but you know,
It's gotta be so horrible, like to deal with that ectopic pregnancy stuff in and of itself. is bad enough, and then you got to deal with stuff after the surgery, even after you think that things are good and things are done, and you're not gonna have to deal with it anymore. And then you get here, and you're still dealing with it, like probably for months afterwards. And she even said she has long time nerve damage. That's probably permanent. I don't know why she didn't say permanent, but hey.
The rule of thumb
Is this picking me up? Okay, good. I thought it wasn't picking me up for some reason. Jeez.
whenever, if you're having trouble breathing, if you're having shortness of breath, if you're having chest pain, just go to the ER. Even if it turns out that like it's standard papers. So yeah, I had to have a bunch of benzo prescriptions, and that was unpleasant.
I'm sure it wasn't pleasant for to have to take a bunch of random
Reputation
prescriptions.
was very high priority in a lot of decisions.
Okay, let me go back.
He didn't want people to certainly find out. So, you know, that was why it was kept a secret. The reputation was very high priority in a lot of decisions.
Yeah, well, that's not too much of a worry now. I don't think.
And
So the cat's already
I
out of
don't
the
know if I
bag.
should say this. It's not that he never wanted me to talk about this. I always felt like I could not talk about it because, again, he wanted to just move on from it right away. I mean, God, there was.
Okay, well, people deal with things in a different way. Like I said, like 30 minutes ago at this point, people deal with different things differently. Like the way she deals with something is not going to be the way I deal with something, and vice versa.
A moment where after my surgery, like maybe like, I don't know, maybe more than a few days after my surgery, I don't remember, but it was certainly shortly after the surgery. At one point, he said he was glad it was ectopic because then neither of us had to choose and the choice was made for us.
Yeah, that's messed up. Uh, Jeez, I obviously I'm taking everything here that she's saying and that he has said with a grain of salt. I don't know. Um, Obviously, if I knew, I'd be telling you that I knew, but I don't. So I shan't, shall and not, and a weird place to use it. But yeah, that's a pretty bad thing to say if he said that. Okay.
And it worked out. So happy. So glad it was ectopic. So happy to not have one of my organs anymore. So happy to have a slight reduction in fertility. So happy to have a higher risk of this happening to me again. So happy to have lasting nerve damage.
Yeah. So I think Gus has like corroborated some of the stuff that was going on, like I've said earlier, and she looks like she looks like she's mentally reliving a lot of this stuff just when she's talking about it. So yeah, I'm leaning more towards believing that a lot of this stuff is true. Now I haven't fully watched the interview yet. I don't know how much Gus said.
But hey, at least I didn't have to choose.
Okay.
Had the choice to tell my family. Did I really? Didn't feel like it.
Okay. I should go back. I really should stop skipping around.
To Did I really? Talk about it. Did I really? Didn't feel like it. And I know that he actually didn't want this to be discussed, for me to talk about it online like this at all. Because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, he was talking to somebody, and he said that he was scared of this happening, of me making a video about my pregnancy experience.
Yeah, yeah, rightfully so. He took a huge hit off of that, and a lot of it was just, reputation wise. Like people were like, "Oh, this guy's so abusive. We don't want to listen to him. We don't want to hear from him." Stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, this is just a bad situation all around, and I can see why he wouldn't want this to get out. Jeez.
And the person said, "Why would you be scared? You said it was her choice, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, yeah." And just brushed it off. And he lied. So he knew. He knew. Anyway, I tried to go about it as best as I could. I tried to. Anyway, I. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't even know what to say there.
I tried to go about it as best as I could. I tried to. Because again, like I've said over and over, it was just supposed to be about my own personal medical experience. This thing has devastated my life for the worst. And I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to be better understood. Because, like I said in the original video,
what sucks is like a lot of the stuff like it sort of feeds in to the main thing about Gus, which is like the main reason I'm watching this video, just to understand the situation more. And I kind of want to skip around, but I don't want to miss anything. And I feel like from the skipping around I have done so far, I've already missed stuff. But continuing on.
I felt like for the last 3 years that I was just like this awkward shell of a person. Like this thing just changed so much of my life. And you know what? Now that I did make the video, and I have had a lot of people reach out to me and solidarity, I do feel a little bit better. I feel a little bit more confident, and I'm getting messages from lots of people, mostly women, but
Well, I mean, it's good that she's starting to, feel better about this whole thing. It sounds like a horrible thing to go through, and at least there's some silver lining, I guess.
other people who had had similar experiences and who are very, very thankful that I made my video at all. I didn't make my video necessarily to be an advocate for other people. Like, selfishly, it was cathartic for me to tell my story. And people viewing me as an advocate was just kind of like a result. And I was very grateful to see those messages and comments after. I also had a lot of other creators as well, or significant others of other creators, reach out to me and tell me about their own experiences in similar lights. And it made me really sad. It made me really, really sad that there's just a lot of.
Is she talking about Gus? If so, like, why is she like not being? Why is she dancing around it? And even in her last video, like of talking about this subject, she didn't even mention Gus by name. People just assumed it, and obviously she's confirmed it. I think on Twitter already, and now she's like confirming it now by talking about it on Twitch.
A lot of toxic, controlling men in this industry still. I mean, it's almost every industry, but this industry as well.
it's weird to make sweeping generalizations like that. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'm not going to talk about their stories. They could talk about it whenever they want to, but anyway. Let's see, where else? Where am I on my notes?
Okay, I'm gonna skip that.
Too much said. I didn't blame Gus for starting to get real tired of having to help me when these PTSD episodes were happening. Hell, I didn't want them to happen.
Yeah, it's you know, even though it's the right thing to stay with people through when they're going through things like that, and it's more than likely always the right thing. It's just hard for people. People have to fight hard to do it, which you know, makes the success stories even more impactful. I hope I phrased that right. Anyway,
I fucking hated it. I had very little control over it. Anytime I could try to figure out, like, get like a hint of an answer, I went for it. Like, and I dove in wholeheartedly, and I would feel happy and relief for like a hot second, but then they would continue, and it would just bring me back to square one because I just didn't know what was happening with my body. When also, that's probably just part of recovery. Just my hormones are fucked up. I'm missing an organ. I had my abdomen cut through. Uh, just nerve.
and more of the same stuff. Let's see if there's any actual new information.
And I was really scared to do that. He had to go before me. I don't remember the reason, but it's very scary being on a plane. Ugh. And I didn't like the idea of being in Wisconsin with all of this happening because I did everything that I possibly could, and then it would like be out of my hand. I was actually even texting a friend about that. Was it
It's a
this
little
one?
bit later on in the video.
Wait, no, not that one.
What is she?
Oh wait, is it this one? Yeah. This is the one where I was texting my friend in advance. And I said, I think I just want to establish in my mind that I tried and that if it's out of my hands, then so be it. I was like, does that make me seem like delusional? And he kept me in check and he's like, real question. Because like I had been venting to this friend this whole time. And he's like, after we chatted, why do you want to make things work? Do you think things will improve? And I said, yeah, because I know how to maneuver through my old life and I know that I can do things to make things work a bit better, and I hate how I felt these last 2 weeks. And then I was just like, honestly, I don't know. It was a state of panic for sure. And he's like, you want the pain to be less severe. Pain, you relief. And he was right. And in the end, I am very happy that we did not get back together. But I remember that the way it happened, just because, and I'm only addressing this because he mentioned this in the interview, okay? I'm being very transparent.
Yeah, this is kind of weird to me. I'm looking for the right words for what I'm trying to say. First of all, the guy using a text chart was kind of weird. That was kind of odd to me. I don't know why. Well, what I was about to say is I don't know why she would want to get back together with Gus. But hey, you know, maybe she didn't realize like how bad the situation was because she was in it at that time. Continue.
Transparent with you all. But yeah, he got there. I had some packages. I was picking up Eva, and also Eva is a very senior dog. You all know how much I love Eva and how much I am.
Okay, this seems like a nothing burger.
Anyway,
I'm gonna come back when she actually gets to it.
Do you want to try? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know what to say to that. And that was all I needed to hear. I just said, okay, got quiet. Because again, if I'm upset, I don't yell, I don't scream, I don't do any of that. And I had my old senior dog with me who was like very easily startled. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. I don't know.
Yell? The fuck? I'm not. Everybody who knows me knows that I am not like a yelling person. That's That's not me.
I
So
I don't know why she brought up everyone who knows her, because that's like two people that are watching this video more than likely. Just I don't know who this person is. You watching probably don't know who this person is. Don't see how that's important, but hey.
so I was really, really bothered that he would make up. That was just a blatant lie. That I screamed at him and that I slammed a door. First of all, why would I slam a door? I have my dog.
Oh, screamed at him and slammed the door. What? I don't know why. I just confused myself there. But yeah, it's really not that big of a difference or a deal. Screaming and slamming a door, especially with all this stuff that's going on, I really not that big of a deal. I don't care.
With me. I'm not going to risk squishing her little foot. I don't slam doors.
You couldn't just like move her out of the way. I'm just saying here.
I'm not the
What?
one who does that.
Okay, so she's trying to like insinuate that like he slams doors.
So I just wanted to
It's
get that
kind of
out
weird.
there. Some
I
of
don't
that
know.
was true, but the part that bothered me was implying that I would scream at him. I don't do that. That's not a thing. And other people would happily back me up that I don't do that.
What? And that's kind of weird how she's like phrasing that. Like I would never scream at him. Like what? Me? Scream at someone? Never. No, never. That would never happen. It's kind of weird. Just saying.
But anyway, and yeah, as soon as that was over, I was like, yeah, I knew that was basically going to happen, but at least now I know that I tried. Like, it made me feel a little bit better. And that was worth it for me. Where else are we? And even then, like, if I screamed at him and slammed a door, we wouldn't have messages because that took place on September 26th. I think that the date was in the previous screenshot that I put up with my friend. That was September 26th. And then we texted again on October 1st, very politely, because I had to pick Eva up from the vet that was nearby and pick up some more stuff. And
You could have yelled at each other and then like talked politely. I mean, this doesn't sound like the most healthy. We talk about our problems and we work them out. It sounds more like a hey, our problems don't get worked out and we just let them fester type of relationship. Obviously, I'm just spitballing here and don't know for sure, but I'm just making an observation here.
and it was totally fine. We left on a positive note. I said, thanks. He said, let me know if you ever need anything. And that was the last that I've ever heard directly from him. It's the last message we've ever exchanged. I have.
Okay, so I think that will pretty much wrap it up. She's probably just gonna ramble and repeat herself because she's done that a little bit in this video. In conclusion, just watch how you treat people and don't let your fears overcome your sense. Don't be stupid. Don't and definitely try to like I don't know how to phrase this. Just value what's important. That sounds good. Value what's important.